This is the Cybercrime Command Center for the U.S. Secret Service. It's the central point of contact for gathering evidence for prosecution, intelligence, and research. Agents come here to better focus their efforts when fighting large-scale internet crime. Teamwork is needed to crack complicated cyber crimes. Typically, the trail starts here, with the forensic specialists trying to crack the criminals' hard drives.
What I've done, I took his computer and I took the hard drive out of that computer and I made a copy of it, it's called a forensic copy, an exact copy of it. And now I'm reviewing my copy of that, looking for evidence or intelligence or whatever might help us in the case.
They have to be particularly careful in developing evidence from computers if they want that evidence to stand up in court.
What I found a document that he had on his computer, and it has some what appear to be credit card numbers, and like the expiration date. So that obviously is a good lead for us right there, because now we have something that we can follow up on.
With information obtained from the hard drive, the team starts tracking and tracing the cyber criminals' movement, starting with the data retrieved from the forensic inspection.
What I'm doing is I'm looking up the bank identification information to see who issued the various credit cards. Then we'll be able to call the fraud investigators at those banks to determine whether or not fraud has occurred on the cards, and possibly to see if the bank investigators have determined a point of compromise as to where the information was obtained.
Any investigation requires cooperation and careful attention to legal requirements.
What I'm going to do now is determine where those credit cards came from. I understand it came from a email, and I'm taking the email and looking at it through the header to determine where it originated. Some of the things I'm looking for in the email header is who it's from, the IP address where it originated from, and the message ID.
Those stolen credit card numbers we saw earlier are valuable commodities on the street. Crooks that collect the numbers need to convert them into cash. Where better to do that than the internet? The crooks use notice boards to advertise their special wares in what is a virtual bazaar.
Credit cards, cell phone security, free drops, physical keyloggers, money order scam, anonymous surfing, criminal's guide to releasing holds on debt, tutorial.
The Secret Service special agents go under cyber cover to break up these highly organized cyber markets.
Some of these run them just like a Fortune 500 business, where they have a president who's in charge of everybody. He has a hacking group, he has an identity theft group, he has a passport group, and each one of those factions is responsible solely for what they do. So if he contracts a hit to go hit a credit card processor or a business, they do the hack, bring him back the numbers. He supplies it to his people, providing them on credit cards to make the counterfeit cards. So it's very structured and very hierarchical on how they do things.
What is traded on the cyber superhighway finds its cash value on Main Street.
In other words, the account numbers, the social security numbers, the birth certificates, all this stolen information doesn't have a value till it's put back out on the street in the form of fake identities, fake credit cards, and is actually used.
The Secret Service helps to train local law enforcement.
We in the Secret Service have been specifically targeting local law enforcement to train them to identify evidence of these crimes, so that when, for routine traffic stops, things of that nature, they recognize what's in the back seat of the car they're walking up on. When they're conducting a search warrant, they recognize the tools that further these crimes.
With a team 200 strong and growing, the Secret Service works on all sides of the problem to catch these increasingly clever cyber crooks.